Namaste. I'm Jagan Karki. Welcome to the Global Nepalese Talk, organized by globalnepalese.com. We discuss about various contemporary issues related to Nepal in this program. Today, we are going to discuss about the impact of COVID-19 in the tourism industry of Nepal. Today, we have a very wonderful guest with us, all the stakeholders from the industry with us. We have Mr. Deepak Joshi, the ex-CEO of Tourism Board of Nepal, who has a proven track record of rebuilding the tourism after the earthquake of 2015. Similarly, we got Sunil Shakya here with us, who is a chairman of KGS Group of Hotel. And we got Arun Chaudhary, the managing director of Chaudhary Holdings. We got Rahul Chaudhary, the managing director of Chaudhary Group. Similarly, we got Prasiddha Pandey, the managing director of Shanrila Group of Hotel. We have Polly Scott, the very good friend of Nepal and president of Support Nepal. We got Navin Gurung, who is a founder president of Shahara, UK, and founder of Support Nepal and a championer of Nepal's tourism. Maybe we say him civil ambassador of the tourism of Nepal. Similarly, I can see various distinguished guests here. I can see Bhagirath Yogi from BBC Nepali Seva, and we got Bola Khanal from Scotland. I see Kate Wallace, student and a very good friend of Nepal, who is doing research in Nepal and who has a lots of knowledge and studies about filming. Similarly, we got Binod Baral, who is an executive chef and an entrepreneur. And I see many other faces here. I see Basaspati Regbi, former DSP and Pokhreli, and journalist from Seattle Party News.com. Let's start the program. First, I would like to go to Prasiddha Pandey ji. Are you listening me, Prasiddha Pandey ji? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Prasiddha ji.
Yeah,
Namaste.
can you hear me?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, namaste, Jagan ji, and namaste to everybody. Well, namaste my friends, Navin. Thank you for organizing all this thing, and all our overseas friend, and my close friend Arun and Sunil. Well, thank you very much to be. Well, anyway, we have not been able to be together, but we have made us together through this media. Through this, it's very good.
You have been in this tourism and hotel industry since more than 3 decades, and you have successfully managed your luxury hotels in Pokhara, Kathmandu, and you are starting your new project, Lost Horizon, as well. I have heard that. What is your observation? What is your experience at the moment, practically? How is the impact of COVID in your industry, in your business going on?
Yeah, Jaganji, I think we all know that, if technically very blindly, we're in lockdown. The whole industry is in lockdown. Of course, tourism is very badly hard hit. Everything is closed down, even airports, airlines. Naturally, the hotel is the first one to get that damage on that. And, we know that this is a very, very difficult phase, all of us, especially for Nepal, because Nepal has got a leverage advantage in tourism, and tourism is a mainstay. If you look at tourism almost occupies, we have not done the, officially done come, but if you look at the GDP contribution, it almost gives almost like 22% GDP contribution. You can just imagine its impact in the total socioeconomic impact, So this is very sad, and there are a lot of things which we have to reorganize in order to stay afloat. We are at the moment, there's earlier thing is only that we're trying to manage like scale down effects, staff management, all that thing going on through different hotels, different areas. So this is the situation at the moment.
So what different approach should the hotel industry should take after COVID-19? What is what are your preparations? How you are preparing to open soon?
Yeah, COVID, I think COVID-19, the whole gamut will be slightly, will be completely changed. And it's not a complete change, it will be I will not say drastic, but there'll be a completely different approach that we may have to take it because it may not be the similar business scenario, So when it'll be a completely different approach, the hotel industry, especially tourism industry, has to be prepared for that. And there is a lot of things which we have not been clear also, even how we'll be able to manage, though there are some of the guidelines, some of the SOPs has been established by international benchmark as well as our own industry. But still, we think that this has to be first regulated among us, means it has to be participated, as we train among us to make sure that when we invite the tourists or guests, they don't feel uncomfortable or scared. So that is the quite challenging at the moment. That is what I think all the hotels, all the fellow hotel are doing it to make sure that to sustain, how to welcome as well as to sustain, how to go on that. So that part is going on at the moment. But definitely, I'd like to tell you that definitely COVID-19 scenario will be completely different than the existing. So initially, it could be a gradual, it will be a slow and gradual, which we expect. So we'll not expect too much. Maybe start with 10 to 50% of occupancy. That means it may take about a year to even reach to 50%. That's the expectation. And that is for that is the whole scale down effects. Even like if you look at even let's say for example housekeeping. When we used to talk about housekeeping, we used to clean morning, evening, and daytime. Even 2 or 3 times sometimes housekeeping. So even those benchmark, what I've been hearing that when the check-in is there, then maybe one before the check-in and only after the checkout. So that gives us scale down effect on that area. And even how to address that. Similarly in all the departments. So these are a lot of meticulous the training has to be done to make sure that we stay afloat with the international standard.
So you are hopeful.
Yeah, of course. Talking in that, Jagan and all my friends who are listening today's discussion, what I like to tell that maybe COVID-19 will be maybe the most different scenario for Nepal because especially after what we have seen, the tragedy all around the world, it's very sad and very sad to hear that, to see that the way people are dying and all that, and no remedy but except there is only one field that it's immune system that it's a natural immune which is helping. So that way, if you look at Nepal could be best place for that in terms of natural. If you look at Nepal, the experience, in 19 could be the best experience in Nepal because Nepal can give you the best of best nature, natural, cultural, and the spiritual part. Which Nepal was the prime, stays on that. The starting stays on that. That means if you look at the nature, if you look at the Himalaya counts as the starting point. The creation of the nature itself, the premium creation of the nature itself. Means a kind of water, kind of flora, fauna, kind of what Himalaya can offer are compared to other part of the area. Himalaya does have much premium, much better, much potential. Even if I say water, water coming from the Himalayan spring water, which is the most of the area, this water is available in Nepal. That gives you, high calcium, potassium, and potassium, and all that. That gives a high immunity among the people. That's why people living in mountain has no diseases or have a long life. These are some of the segments. Similarly, even the food cycle, which is grown in the Himalayas, the high altitude has highest antioxidants. Which also gives the high immunity. As as well as if you look at the spiritual part, then along with this immunity, if you look at the spiritual part, maybe Nepal is the only place where the spiritual part started. Means all this Nepal was called the meditation place. So
So
beneath the
you are
Himalaya,
hopeful that the tourism industry of Nepal will revive because of its uh, organic nature of the nation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. For the experiential, nowadays tourists, what we like to say that just one is while in terms of one is saying that sightseeing, the experiential part is much stronger for a code 90 because people like to give a, of course, they like to go for sightseeing here and there, go for all these activities. But more than that,
Prasiddha,
what like they like to be,
uh,
they like to be immune. They like to be naturally immune so that
I
their
would,
regeneration
yes,
is there.
yes, thank you, Prasiddha. I would like to ask one last question. You are,
Yeah,
Ross, I think maybe you are, thank you so much for your time. I heard that you are going to hospital or somewhere else. You are
yeah.
in car as well. What are your recovery plans? How long it's going to take place to come back?
Yeah, actually, what we hear from the government that most probably by August we should be our airport should be open August 1st or maybe by end of August our airports should open. So gradually, maybe if the August is there guideline, I mean, if that is the guidelines, then gradually from September onwards, from August, September or October onwards, all the hotels, whatever, all this. Of course, there are some of the hotels are partially open also, but technically most of the hotels, most of the restaurants, hotel which has been closed because the lockdown will be starting open after the airport opens. That means after the international flight, mainly.
Thank you so much, Prasida. I
Yeah,
will come back to you. If you got some time, please kindly join us back. Uh,
yeah. I'll like to do that.
Thank
Just
you.
give me the
Thank you,
buzz.
Prasida.
Okay.
I would like to come to Deepak Joshi ji. Deepak
Okay.
ji, can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Yes,
Uh,
Jagan. Yes. Thank you.
how are you? You all right, Deepak?
All good.
Since you have a great experience of rebuilding the tourism of Nepal after the earthquake of 2015, what is your observation after COVID-19, Deepak?
Uh, I think as already mentioned by Prasiddha Dai, the business is down, lives are under lockdown. So naturally, we are going through a hard time. But I think the people, the human being, they are by nature itself, they have nomadic nature. They love to explore. I think slowly people will start moving ahead. We need to be hopeful. While talking about the current challenges, how I see is, there are 3, 4 key areas where we have to work more to have the quickest recovery. The one is obviously most of the visitors, they will look for a kind of safety assurance that the destination they are choosing. The second is the cost is always a very key factor to while choosing any destination. Basically, while talking about the cost, one
Mhm.
side, the with added safety protocols, the airlines, hotel industry, or restaurant may need to add some cost to provide basic services. And in other side, the most of the visitors, they are losing their jobs, and then they are losing their economic opportunities. So they have to compromise, the cost factor. So
Mhm.
in that segment, how we are going to work is also the key factor to bounce back our
Uh,
tourism.
Thank you,
Uh,
Deepak. I was thinking to come the recovery part at last. First,
mhm.
it would be great if you can give a brief of the current situation and tentatively when the lockdown will ease and how the hotel industries are preparing and what they are doing at the moment.
Right now, the in 2019, because of 4 main reasons, the whole Nepalese, the mode and tone was attracting towards tourism sector. The
Mhm.
one is because of we are moving towards from the kind of unstable politics to the
True.
stability. And then second is, we had realized the vast tourism potential that we have. And then third is the whole tone of the country was moving towards the development agendas. The 5, 7, 10 years back, we used to romanticize to talk on social and political agendas, but
Mhm.
now everybody talks and serious and economic agendas, which are a good sign for
Even
the
your
country.
2020 Visit Nepal has halted.
Yeah, and the fourth point was we had Visit Nepal 2020 with high hope, doubling the visitors number to bring back to Nepal.
Mhm.
So but with these 4 reasons, not only the entrepreneurs or the stakeholders in tourism, but other industry stakeholders also were attracted to our tourism sector. So there was huge encouragement and huge investment in tourism. And then at the same time, I would like to request government also, like, to attract investment, to promote investment. We always ask and request with heavy heart, with I mean the open hearts. But while talking about the conserving the investment that the industry has made, we are least bothered about it, which is very serious thing for the long term to survive our industry. So I think we need to be more serious on this part.
ओके, अलिकति नेपालमा पनि भनिदिनुहुन्छ कि दर्शकवृन्द अहिले तपाईँहरू हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ ग्लोबल नेपाली स्टक। आज हामी चाहिँ नेपालको पर्यटन उद्योगमा, पर्यटन क्षेत्रमा यो अहिलेको पान्डेमिक, यो कोरोना महामारीले कस्तो असर पारिरहेको छ र यो असरबाट बाहिर आउनको लागि हाम्रो टुरिज्म इन्डस्ट्रीमा कस्ता खालका तयारीहरू भइरहेका छन् र के आवश्यक हुन्छ भनेर हामीले सम्बन्धित क्षेत्रका विज्ञहरूसँग बसेर छलफल चलाइरहेका छौँ। हामीसँग धेरै विज्ञहरू हुनुहुन्छ, हामीसँग विदेशी पाहुनाहरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ। त्यसकारणले आजको हाम्रो कार्यक्रम चाहिँ अलिकति दुईटै भाषामा फरेनरहरू पनि, हाम्रो टुरिस्टहरूलाई पनि अलिकति के हुँदैछ जानकारी दिउँ भन्ने हिसाबले हामीले कार्यक्रम डिजाइन गरेको हुनाले यो दुईटै भाषामा छ। त्यसकारणले अलिकति झन्झट नमानिकन हेरिदिनु होला। हामी चाहिँ भरसक दुईटै भाषामा यथेष्ट डिस्कस गर्ने प्रयास गर्नेछौँ। प्लिज दिपकजी अलिकति नेपालीमा केही।
मैले अब अघि त्यही कुराहरू हाइलाइट गरिरहेको थिएँ, जस्तो टुरिज्ममा धेरै उत्साहजनक स्थिति आइरहेको थियो होइन। ओभरअल इकोनोमिक डेभलपमेन्टको प्याटर्न पनि हाम्रो राम्रै गइरहेको थियो। नियरली 7% इकोनोमिक ग्रोथ हामीले 2-3 वर्षदेखि रिसिभ गरिरहेको थियो। सडनली अब यो कोरोनाले 2-3 खालको च्यालेन्ज यहाँ ल्याएको छ। एउटा चाहिँ एक्जिस्टिङ हामी कहाँ भएको ह्युमन रिसोर्स बिजनेसलाई कसरी रिटेन गर्ने, अर्को अब बाहिरतिर पनि जसले चाहिँ जबहरू गुमाइरहनु भएको छ त्यो माइग्रेन्ट लेबर पनि नेपालमा भित्रिरहेछ। अहिले यही बिचमा पनि थुप्रै आइरहनु भएको छ होइन, र 7 देखि 9 लाख बाहिरको जनसङ्ख्या पनि आउँछ भन्ने खालको कुरा छ। अलरेडी हामीले यहाँ नेपालको सर्वेहरू हेऱ्यौँ भने 2019 मा करिब 12 लाख टुरिस्ट नेपाल भित्रिएको थियो होइन, र नेपालमा 12 लाख टुरिस्ट भित्रिँदा डाइरेक्ट, इन्डाइरेक्ट र इन्ड्युस्ड गरेर करिब 11 लाख जनसङ्ख्यालाई इम्प्लोइमेन्ट क्रिएट भएको थियो। नियरली 4-4.5 लाख प्रत्यक्ष, 3-3.5 चाहिँ यो सिजन बेस्ड अप्रत्यक्ष, र अर्को चाहिँ हामी यो सप्लाई चेनमा काम गर्ने बाँकी 4-5 लाख गर्दाखेरि अब त्यत्रो ह्युमन रिसोर्स जुन इङ्गेज थियो त्यो चाहिँ अहिले जबलेस भएको अवस्था छ एक हिसाबले। अर्कोतिर चाहिँ अघि पनि हामीले कुरा गऱ्यौँ, ठुलो इन्भेस्टमेन्ट जो बिजनेस कम्युनिटीबाट लगाइरहनु भएको थियो होइन, त्यो पनि एक खालको थ्रेट छ। र यही बिचमा अब कहिलेसम्म यो पेन्डेमिक कन्ट्रोल होला भन्ने मेरो पर्सनल अब्जर्भेसनका आधारमा मलाई के लाग्छ भने,
फेरि आउँछु दिपकजी हजुरसँग। म सुनिल साक्यजीतिर आउन चाहे। सुनिलजी, क्यान यु हियर मी? सुन्नु भएको छ मलाई? सुनिलजी? ओके, सुनिलजी को म्युटले म्युट रहेछ, मैले अनम्युट गरेँ। सुन्नु भएको छ? अलिकति हाम्रो यहाँ टेक्निकली म्युट देख्यो।
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, Sunil, as a chairman of KGH Group, your father Konosaki established Kathmandu Guest House in Tamil and making hub of tourists for all over the world. How is your business affected from COVID-19, Sunil? How are you experiencing in practice?
Okay, Jaganji, thank you. Yeah, we are also in the hospitality for the last a little over 50 years now, 3 generations, and yes, my father started it, and now my children are also in it. So it's a 3 generations of, but yes, we are totally devastated right now because of the COVID, not only us, but the whole nation and the whole world for that matter. And I think we are facing the challenge, one of the most serious and one of the most challenging in the world right now. I think the other pandemic, I think COVID is going to be one of the most challenging because of its nature, because of its uncertainty. The only thing we are certain is of its uncertainty, actually. The COVID is changing, and for the last 4 months now, I think all the tourism in airlines, in cruise, in tourism, in hospitality has been totally devastated. It's the first one to be affected and the last one to recover. Right now, I think in tourism, we are on the survival. Right now, for the last 2 or 3 months, hotels are looking into the survival stage. We are not yet looking into the recovery stage right now. I think it's better sometimes to strategize. I think most of the hotels and the hospitality, at least the one that is running, the hotels that has been running have a really big challenge on how to just maintain with almost a zero revenue. And the government is still locked down. We haven't started opening up. The airlines are on a lockdown, and so is the travel agencies, the transportation, the local transportation. So we are absolutely paralyzed at the moment. And so therefore, I think right now for us in the hospitality industry, we are looking into the survival stage, like what my predecessor,
Thank you,
Prasiddha,
Arun.
also
Thank you,
discussing.
Sunilji. I will come back to you in with the next question. Now I would like to go to Arun Chaudhary. Arun, can you hear me? Arun sir? Hello.
I do. I do.
Namaste, namaste. Welcome, Hazurlai.
Namaste. Sunil Samalai.
Yes, yes.
Hazur. Hazur, please.
Since you are leading one of the biggest business venture of Nepal, how have you been observing the impact of pandemic in tourism industry, Arun?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to connect with the captains of the tourism industry. Yes, I have done it. I would consider myself as a novice in terms of tourism business. However, the question is very, very obvious that when we are talking about the impact of COVID in the tourism industry, the answer is yes, everybody is affected. There is nobody who is not affected. So Nepal ma pani situation ekdam kharab cha. Nepal ma agi Deepak ji le भन्नु भए अनुसारले tourism industry ले आफ्नो टाउको उठाउँदै, they were in the only expenses. What would be the vision of a entrepreneur hotel? So your question talk some other aspects as well.
Yes, yes. You have recently signed in with Holiday Inn, and you have recently entered in this industry 3 years ago. You have bought a Tigerland resort. What should be the way forward, especially in the luxury hotel industry and well-being tourism?
Yeah, just give you a heads up as to my journey in hospitality industry. As far as my journey goes in hospitality industry, the whole credit goes to my nephew, Rahul Chaudhary, who is sitting just, I can see him just there. He is my guru as far as the hospitality is concerned, because he is a very, very experienced and matured hotel. So he encouraged me that I should also get into hospitality industry. So accordingly, I wanted to try to cope up with my nephew Rahul. So I ventured into 5. So the one was Holiday Inn, 184 key hotel, and then another one is a Lemon Tree. It's an Indian brand, a business hotel. So that is about 100 keys. So I ventured into that. Another, I thought that with my age, if I try to only look at ground zero projects, then I wouldn't be able to do much. Hotel, jungle resort as Tiger Land, which is in Jagatpur, Chitwan. Then I bought another resort in Nagarkot called Bhangeri Darwa.
Yes.
My wellness center. So out of these, 3 hotels are still under development. That is already in Lemon Tree and the Bhangeri Darbar renovation. 2 are shut down, and I can see that the pain of a hotelier when such a situation happens as to what type of nightmare they go through. So it's a reality check for me.
How do you see the prospect of Indian tourists visiting Nepal sometime soon?
You know, I mean, before answering your question, Jaganji, you know, yes. I look at hospitality. Hospitality as basically 2 segment of customers. One is domestic, one international. These are very, very daring. You know, our approach and everything is very, very extreme. When COVID-19 and the lockdown was declared, you could hardly see anybody on the road. Everything was completely shut down. And now lockdown, now you see everybody on the road. So I call this a very, very extreme approach, which sometimes can be dangerous as well, you know, because COVID and virus is something that is unknown evil, you know, the evil you can't see and you never know when it has crept into you. So that is one. So as far as the domestic tourism is concerned, I am quite hopeful that it will pick a sheer Nepalese nature. You know, we like to challenge. We like to challenge everything, including we would like to challenge virus also here. You know, now.
Thank you, Arun. I will come back to you. Your sound also great.
Let me.
I will come back to you, Arun. Thank you so much for your insight. Now I would like to go to Rahul. Rahul, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. Can you hear me?
Hello, Rahul. How are you? Yes.
I'm well, Jaganji.
Yes, since you are the second son of the only one Forbes listed billionaire, Mr. Vinod Chaudhary, you are looking after Taj Asian chain, and you run in hotels in many cities, not only in Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, in many cities of Asia. How is your business affected after this COVID-19? How is your experience? Would you like to share some?
Of course. First of all, Jaganji, thank you so much for that question. I'd like to thank Mr. Navin Gurung for organizing this panel of all my fellow hoteliers. Of course, it's a pleasure being on the panel here, but more so, it's an honor to be on the same panel with my uncle. He's too kind with his words. I'm an aspiring hotelier, but he's an established entrepreneur. Yeah. Now, just to go to your question, as you all are well aware, and many of the colleagues on the panel have already mentioned that we all have been affected. Hospitality has been the second most affected out of all the different sectors around the world. And we know that has had, and this is one of those pandemics which have had an impact right from all the way to the top leadership, all the way to the chaiwalas at the bottom. So we have to look at life from that perspective and how it has changed us. Of course, we deal in many different jurisdictions. We have our hotels all the way from New York to Africa to Middle East and Asia. There are different kind of challenges everywhere, all the way from survival. Obviously, survival is key at the moment. And we are all working towards the same, while some governments have come forward to give a helping hand in terms of some reliefs, some governments have not. So obviously the challenges are there. The challenges at what level is something that is debatable. But we all know that hospitality fraternity is a very resilient fraternity. And we have always bounced back regardless of the odds. I know that it takes a little bit of time. It has taken a little bit of time in every aspect, or every time we are faced with a situation such as your 9/11 or your financial crisis or your earthquake. But Nepal, from its positioning perspective, I think we are quite well positioned between India and China, because you have the two big countries there with almost 3 billion population. And you have to keep in mind that you will always see a overflow and influx of tourists that are going to come from these two countries. So sometimes being between the two big boys is not a bad thing after all, despite of all the political situations that are going on. But having said that, I think we are beginning to accept the new normal. I think many of my colleagues have already stressed on the same in this panel, so I don't want to get into that. But I think the approach that we all are adopting right now are threefold. One is survive in the short run. Second would be revive, I would say in the next year or so. Third would be thrive. And how we would want to do that would be also, I mean, this whole opportunity, I look at this whole situation also like an opportunity, you know?
Yes.
Because it gives you a platform and a situation whereby you are pushed to a corner to reassess your costs, reassess your strategies, reassess your business model, and reassess how you wish to go forward in the long run.
Yes.
Because this is not something that is going to be here only for the short run.
Yes,
this is going to stay on for the long run.
Same question I was going to ask you. What different approach should the hotel industry should take, especially in Nepal? What, as per your observation in international hotel industry and your experience and your young and dynamic approach, what do you suggest?
Of course. I'll answer that in a very simple way. Prasiddha ji also mentioned about the approach that we should take. But clearly, I will say that the future of any hotel or brand will rely on three aspects. You can call it QSR. When I say QSR, that is quality, that is safety, that is reliability. If you are able to demonstrate these to your customers and to your target markets, I'm sure that you will be able to survive this pandemic for sure. Because no one nowadays is going to just step into a facility or a hotel without knowing that they are in safe hands and they are being taken care of for the future as well. That's one aspect. Second aspect I will say is what my uncle mentioned about the international and domestic market. I think Nepal will have to look at focusing in the domestic market in the short term and the near term future. Because you don't know, so depending on the inbound tourists is something you cannot control. That is anyone's guess. We may open our airports, but how and when the international airports are going to open, how free the travel is going to be from one destination to the other, how people are going to experience those is going to be the one topic that is going to differentiate us from the rest. So domestic market is going to be the key market that one should focus on. And number three, I will say that a lot of the market is going to shift to wellness and the leisure segments. Because you have to understand that people, and as I mentioned, hospitality industry is a very resilient industry. And we as Nepalese are adventurous.
Yes.
We love experiencing new avenues and experiencing new things. I think when you talk about leisure, we're already talking about a natural social distancing. Also, one more thing, I'd like to say that so much often we use the word social distancing. I don't think in our hospitality fraternity, social distancing is a right word to use. We should call it safe distancing.
Safely
because
said.
we have to talk from the perspective of how is the perception with the client. At the end of the day, COVID with its reality is more of a perception than the reality. Of course, there are definitely impacts that have happened in the livelihoods of the people. But going back to my same point is, I think leisure and wellness is going to be the future. So one should focus on wellness and leisure in adapting their businesses. And lastly, I will say that your cost aspect is going to be most important. It is this whole COVID has given you an opportunity to look at your cost basis, to look at how you structure your businesses, how you look at your businesses, and that we should make the most of. And I'll give you an example, like Vivanta, a hotel that we just opened about a year or so back. I mean, we unfortunately was stuck with 2 or 3 guests who we had to take on for the whole COVID, and we still have them. And you know, in the hospitality industry, whether it's 1 room or 2 rooms or 25 rooms, we have to keep the skeleton staff. But what we had to do to survive was that we had to start home delivery. And we've actually done pretty well because we have to think outside the box to survive as well. Like Mr. Sunil Shakya said, that this is a survival time. We all have to think about revenues are virtually at a zero. You have to think about different ways to ride the storm and be able to move forward with this perspective. I mean, of course, lastly, I will say that I don't really want to digress more and more, talk about the support that we are getting from the what we would have expected to get from the government and the related bodies. But you know, the hopes are there. I hope that is going to come about sometime or the other, because they have to keep in mind that we are literally one of the backbones of the economy. And tourism doesn't, it's very well to say tourism, but tourism has to become the focus.
Yes, thank you, Rahul. I'll come back to you. Now I would like to go to Navin. Navin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, Navin, you have been championing the sports tourism, volunteer tourism, community tourism since 1996, and you got like over 25 years of experience in British Airways, one of the prestigious airways of the world. You have also a very good connection with the Westerner friends. You have sent many things in tourism, and you are observing the world market as well from London. These days, you are talking about the new tourism. Where do you think the tourism of Nepal should be focused in future? What is this new tourism? What mean?
Okay, just before going that, I like to address something that it was in the Facebook today. I wanted my mentor. I always say that is Sunil's father. Karnasaka is my mentor, and always I praise his vision. So few words, even though he's not here today, I would like to share some of his few words that he mentioned that in my Facebook.
Please.
This is a very positive message to all the Nepalese hospitality entrepreneur, that this is very important. Few sentences, his statement. He said that travel and tourism is a sensitive, but it is also a very resilient industry. Once a travel bug bite the modern man, indulgence of wanderlust remains high. Half of the world population are middle class, and they are intelligent, restless, and they are the world frequent travelers. Immediate global trotterers are the middle class people. They are energetic, adventurous, and courageous. This context, the future of Nepal tourism is not in a blink, because Nepal is one of the most popular, best value tourist destination in the world. So this statement gives us some hope that Nepal is not going to suffer. But only thing is COVID-19, which is affecting not only Nepal, but the whole world. So the next move is the government has to play a vital role. The private sector has done the best. Private sector has built so many good hotels and facilities, but the government has to now give their input. Nepal government has not given any input to the private sector. They're only asking for tax. That's all they're asking. Where is the encouragement? Where is the help from the government? This is the very important key factor that the government has to play the vital role to bring the future tourism in Nepal. Small things like cleanliness, health, transport, these are the very, very basic needs I think the government has to really focus on, because Nepal is blessed. We are very, 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 thankful to God and nature, because we are blessed with so many abundance of all these beautiful nature. Nepal is blessed. Only we have to do is just maintain it and then provide the facilities for the tourists to come to Nepal and welcome them. So if we can do that, I think there are lots of tourists who are still wants to go. We have our very good example. Polly is waiting. She hasn't cancelled. November is still on. We are still waiting. I'm sure flock of the tourists will flock in if Nepal, the government plays a key role, like 14 days quarantine has to be scrapped. The hotel has to apply the distance thing. The hotel has to do that. That should be implemented. And then everywhere the tourist travel, it has to be sanitized. All these basic things, if they do it. And the most important thing is 14 days quarantine does not work for the international tourists. So that has to be scraped, and in advance from the time they land in airport till they visit the different places of Nepal. I think the hygiene standard has to be maintained. This way, I think there will be plenty of tourists flocking into Nepal. And I'm talking about now, Nepal is known for the adventure tour. If you talk to the elderly people or middle-aged people, they say, oh, that's not for me. It's a very wrong concept. Nepal can give a luxury holidays, like wellness, the health clubs, as you can see in Thailand and other places, they have these facilities. Nepal has also got that facility in a real nature. Other hotels maybe create a situation with lights and maybe photos, but Nepal has real sceneries, like mountains. So have a resort next to the mountain, fresh air, and do this kind of wellness health clubs. I'm sure new type of tourists will flourish in, and I'm sure our new entrepreneurs are now really into it. They are building new places, and this is one place we have to now concentrate. Another place is community tourism. Now in Africa, so many students goes to the wildlife and involve themselves in those wildlife sanctuaries. Nepal has got wildlife as well, so the government should provide those kind of facilities, educational tours for lots of students, scouts who can go and visit Nepal. And then also now the tourism in the Western world has now changed their mind. They are not materialistic. They are not going for hotels or casinos. They are going for the real Nepal. Inside of Nepal, what's happening, how they live. So obviously homestay has to be encouraged, and the government has to invest some fund towards on the village side where the homestay facilities can be provided. So these are the new places, and also luxury, like people like to go and play golf and other places. So there are so many tourist development we can concentrate on, not only on trekking and rafting and these are very old trend now. The world is changing. World is more towards health, and world wants to know the real living style of the local people, the villagers. These are the things that I want to emphasize, and I'm working on it through Support Nepal. We have President Polly Scott. We have Kate, who's been researching about Nepal, and there are so many people who loves Nepal. We don't have to advertise that come to Nepal, because people loves us. Because the reason behind is not only the country has got a beautiful scenery, is the hospitality of the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Navin. I will come back to you. Now I would like to come to Polly. I heard your good friendship with Nepal, and Navin also said we've been watching you going to Nepal and doing a lots of this support activity through your Support Nepal. As a Westerner and a good friend of Nepal, you have been to Nepal before the COVID as well. What change do you expect in Nepal, which makes you feel going there again and again?
I thank you very much for having me and for allowing me to be on your panel today. It's a great privilege. Thank you. I look upon Nepal and our friends there as being warm friends. The things that are so positive for a Western traveller and tourist is, and one's always felt very safe there and very welcome. The hospitality of the Nepalese is second to none, and that's very important. I think all the points that Navin's made are very interesting, because we certainly are adventure travelers. You know, we love the contrast, you know, the simplicity of the beautiful mountain life and trekking and the endurance and that sort of thing, and challenges, let me say challenges, plenty of them. And then the contrast with the sublime luxury afterwards, you know, that's this sort of contrast to have the two in one place is you know, in one country, one small country comparatively, it's terrific. And you've got, and then to have also the contrast with nature and wildlife is fantastic. But there are definitely just a few small things that I think, well, they are important. As everybody has mentioned, it's to do with safety, to feel secure and at ease with travel. Well, we've all taken a big step back to reassess what our priorities are, and our health and our well-being, you know, we realize our family and that sort of thing, so that when we do our adventures, coming home again is so important. So we want to feel safe while we are away. And so there are things, you know, for instance, I do want to say that perhaps preparation online, visas, you know, the visa halls of Kathmandu Airport, you know, I'm sure things, I know there have been a lot of changes at Kathmandu Airport, but so to enable the safe distancing, which I understand now, not social distancing, but safe distancing, everybody globally understands it, apart from, say, let's just say children under 5, no, but everybody in us adults, we understand, you know, things for precautions, you know, masks. We've seen it in many places with people, masks and visors, whatever. I don't have a visor, but I have a mask. Sanitizers. It's part of our lives. Hand washing all the time. You know, we all know we do this, and but it is part of our lives, and the ability to be able to do that. If there isn't hand washing that's available, then sanitizer, we do it. But also, you know, things that we can do ahead of our travels to Nepal. It's our transit. It's a long way away. We have to take 2 flights from UK. We have to transit somewhere before arriving, and we want to feel safe in those, A, on the airplane, and B, on the transit lounge, wherever it is, that we have enough space to social distance, safe distance, and you know, I know that every precaution will be taken with hospitality, food and things on our flights and stuff, but it's those things, you know, we know we will have a warm welcome when we arrive in Kathmandu, but the Kathmandu airport, you know, there's just some things that can be done there. We'd rather be outside in the fresh air than be crammed into the arrival hall, the immigration hall. I'm sure that if we do all of our immigration online ahead of time, these small things will help. And but I think, you know, that as far as the rest of the tourism goes, you know, the infrastructure in Nepal, it's made so much progress, but the roads still are the main routes. Many of them are improved. I know I've traveled it myself from Pokhara to Chitwan, but I know the big challenge is the Pokhara to Kathmandu, vice versa. And so it's journey time, and I'm sure things are going to be worked out of how to make it so that we can travel when we're using the road system. But I hope with actual tourism, you know, we can enjoy the delicious food of Nepal, and we can enjoy the wellness, you know, the spa. I absolutely love a Nepalese massage after a big long trek. You know, these things are essential, and we will keep coming back. We love the adventures. there's going to be plenty of Himalayas for us to explore, as well as out into the remoter countryside, you know. So Nepal has it all. We just need to know that we will feel safe. We feel very safe with Navin, with his approach. He's always checking up on us. You know, we love to use Navin and his style of tourism. Not so much the Boy Scout type which he wants, which we would like, but we would like to look forward to promoting the health of the communities of Nepal, certainly in Kolma Bahakot district. So that's why we look forward to coming to open to help complete the welfare center.
British government has opened many destinations for the citizens to go on holiday these days.
Yes.
So when international travel resumes, do you think British tourists will be willing to go back to Nepal again?
I'm sure of it. I've spoken with a friend of mine who has another small agency. She does trekking. And she said she's got plenty of bookings for 2021. Mm-hmm. She said people are never going to not want to go to Everest Base Camp. I mean, I haven't been there, but you know, it's never going to be anywhere else, is it? Annapurna, you know, these beautiful, beautiful mountains. People will always want to challenge themselves. If not to go to the top, they're going to want to go to be in the surroundings of it. You know, you can't take this away from Nepal. This is always going to be there. And also, you know, the national parks, and I'm referring to the nature and things like that. So I see it as maybe not straight away. You know, I don't know about how everything will be before the end of the year and stuff, before the end of 2020. But looking ahead, I definitely see tourists wanting to come back to Nepal. Definitely. They may be the younger tourists. They may not be my age. You know, there will still be plenty of people like me, hopefully, but also they will be younger travelers too, because they don't always have, they may not have all the same resources, you know, and want to do all the, but I do see it. Kate can represent those people. But
thank you, Polly. I will come back to you. I will. We need lots of feedback and then questions from you. I will come back to you. Now I would like to go to Kate. Kate, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Namaste.
Hi, Kate. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Since you have been studying the nature and wildlife of Nepal for your academic research, what opportunity do you see for the promotion of tourism in Nepal through nature, well-being, and wildlife tourism?
I mean, I think Polly covered quite a lot of it really well, actually. The fact that there is just such a diversity of nature, from mountains to basically jungles. And I think what's lovely is that it's, well, at the moment, you've got the really good access to Chitwan and to Pokhara for the trekking. But I think it would be really great to see a little bit more to say Badia and over in the west in the Karnali River, because there is so much opportunity over there for rafting and for like, especially now with the tigers on the rise, there's so many more opportunities for tiger spotting, which is getting more and more a rare opportunity nowadays, apart from selected areas. So I think that's really important. I agree with Polly that infrastructure wise it would help to have those roads that do stretch out a bit further each way. But in terms of what you've got, it's definitely a country that you do have to keep coming back to, because there's always more to see. I first went in September 2015, so there was still a lot of recovery from the earthquake, and it's been so incredible to see how everything has developed over the past 5 years and just picked itself right back up. So I think Nepal, more than anyone, is fully capable of bouncing back. And yeah, I think that hospitality, number one, just can't compare to any other country that I've been to, the amount of trust and how safe I felt. So I think enhancing all that, we have a lot of safe distancing measures in England at the moment. Everything's printed on the floor about where's 2 meters apart and things, and I think that gives people a lot of peace of mind. So I think with regards to
Kate. I
COVID,
will
that would
come back
help.
to you, and maybe if you have any queries or contribution, you can put forward once our floor is open now. Our floor is open now. If there is any questions or queries, we can interact each other. But maybe for that, we need to go to the participant button and raise your hand to contribute. Otherwise, if we talk all together, then the voice might clash. I would like to, I see Binod Baral here. Binodji, he wants to speak something about food tourism. He has sent me some of his queries. Binod is one of the executive chef in international hotel industry, and he is working in, as an R&D chef. I think he is still in his journey at the moment. Binod, can you hear me, Binod?
Namaste, Jaganji. Namaste, 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 everyone.
Namaste. You have been championing about this culinary tourism and food tourism, culture and food. Could you please let's tell our audience about the possibilities of food tourism, the culinary tourism of Nepal, Binodji? How have you been observing this pandemic impact in food industry since you've been working in the same area at the moment? You haven't lost your job yet?
Oh, no. I'm working from all the way through, because we are working in R&D for airlines catering. The R&D department is always we have to plan ahead. So we are all the time working. Now I'm in Vienna to launch the contactless food box. Is a part of the post-COVID our strategy for airlines catering.
How does it work? Oh, it sounds neat.
It is the part of post-COVID strategy for airlines catering. What we need to do is we try to develop this with less human involved.
Okay.
And then we created box food for British Airways.
All right.
And this is we are launching now. And plus, I came for in Vienna for Vienna Food Festival. Sorry, not food festival. Sorry, film festival. And there is a food everywhere. Food is part of culture.
यो नेपालको चाहिँ यो फुड culinary tourism को बारेमा थोरै केही भनिदिनुस् त अलिकति नेपालीमा हाम्रो नेपाली दर्शक
हाम्रो अब जहिले पनि म के भन्छु भने फुड इज पार्ट अफ आवर कल्चर हैन अनि मैले के देखिरहेको छु भने हो जहिले पनि नेपाली फुड त्यहाँ थियो अहिले चाहिँ यो कोभिड-19 को बेलामा चाहिँ हामीले यसलाई एज अ अपर्चुनिटी लिनुपर्छ किनभने सबैले अहिले चाहिँ इम्युनिटी बुस्टिङको कुरा गरिरहेछन् अहिले अब भिगन भेजिटेरियन हाम्रो के अरे नेचुरल फुड क्लिन फुड सात्विक फुड योगिक फुडको कुरा गरिरहेछन् हैन अनि हाम्रो कन्ट्री त होल कन्ट्री नै अर्गानिक कन्ट्री हो हैन अर्गानिक फार्म कन्ट्री हो अनि यसलाई यो टाइममा हामीले अलिकति मार्केट गरेर अलिकति तपाईको कन्सिस्टेन्सी प्रोडक्टहरु निकालेर मार्केट गर्यो भने चाहिँ अपर्चुनिटी छ जस्तो लाग्छ एकजना मान्छेले चेन्ज गर्न सक्छ भन्ने कुरा हामीले रामदेवको योगाबाट देखिसक्यौं हैन उहाँले ग्लोबली चेन्ज गर्नु भने त्यस्तै हामी चाहिँ सबै मिलेर नेपाली फुडमा यी कुराहरु राम्रो छन् र हाम्रो छ पनि हिस्ट्री.
Okay, Vinodji, I will come back to you regarding this food tourism, culinary tourism of Nepal. Now, our floor is open, so if there is any contribution or any queries in our panel to our panelists, please go forward. If
walking pilgrimage trail, I would like all of you to know that your input and discussions, these are not just abstract ideas. We are using it as a think tank just to launch into action. The other thing I wanted to share, which especially makes is that
Sunil,
among the various
yes,
I can see some background noise from you. Sunilji,
Yes.
contribution regarding the possibilities of the domestic tourism after COVID-19, this COVID pandemic.
Well, I think some of the short term and medium term, long term, I think we still have time. I think for this year, 2020, we are really looking into the survival stage. And we are at this particular moment, the business that we have at the moment is very small takeaways and bakeries and things like that, and probably the quarantine. Once the lockdown sort of opens up and the government actually allows the hotels and restaurants to open up, you can actually look into the domestic tourism. And maybe after the airline starts, because everything is now, we have to work into the airlines and the domestic airlines, the transportations, they have to open up before the domestic tourism actually can also work on. So destinations like Pokhara, Chitwan, Lumbini sort of will be open to the domestic tourism once the government sort of allows it to open. I think that stage hasn't come yet. We just hopefully we are looking at the government to opening up on these fronts. On the international and the regional tourism of India and China would have to happen once the airline starts opening up. Unfortunately, right now we have some political disturbances on the border disputes as well. I hope that will be solved soon with the India-China disputes. You know, I hope that will be solved soon. And with the COVID also, I hope the vaccination and the medical, some sort of vaccines come as soon as possible, and that will bring the normal to us. But till then, we have to work with social distancing. We need to reassure our clients that we have a medical policy in place. We have a WHO. We are trying to manage this. But and these are the new normals. But I think the normal will have the kind of tourism that we should be having once the vaccine comes. And for that, we all have to work together at the moment. But in the meantime, our focus right now for the Nepal airlines, helicopters, transportations, hospitality, we are all in it together. We are really looking into the survival stage, and we are looking into the governments to give us some sort of a relief in terms of taxes, in terms of retrenchments, in terms of policies, in terms of laws that needs to come and help us give relief to the businesses. And this is something that we are hoping different associations like the Hotel Association, the PATA, we are all trying to work together and trying to convince the government has to come. I think this is also a good forum, maybe through, since this is an international forum and it is a British related, maybe we are also trying to sort of look into the multilateral agencies to help with the tourism fraternity as it is, to come and maybe DFID or World Bank or IMF and these international institutions to come and help the tourism sector. The government sort of needs to sort of have a guarantee and give a short-term loans or bridge loans to make sure that these infrastructures survive this particular stage. This is going to be very, very important for us because a lot of businesses are going bankrupt and we need to save them. And this is our concern. In PATA, it's our concern in Hotel Association, how to save these infrastructures that took 30, 40 years for them to make an institution as such. And this is one of the biggest concerns at the moment. Of course, we all feel very, very confident that once these medicines and these vaccines come, the tourism is going to come back. It's going to come back to normal. But till then, I think we just need to survive. So this is a message that I want to give to this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you so much for your contribution. Now, I would like to go to Deepak Joshi ji. Deepak ji, can you hear me? Deepak sir?
Ask Kate and Polly to ask questions to Deepak.
Sure. I got one question, Deepak ji. I got one question from Binod Shrestha ji. He is travel agent from United Kingdom. He says, it seems COVID is going to stay with us for a long time. What are we doing in Nepal, and Nepalese tourism sectors are taking steps to recovery and sustain in this difficult time? I think you are going to say the sustainability model and stuffs, yeah? Maybe Deepak will say, tell about, he will address this question and then come back to Kate's question. Is that okay, Navin and Kate?
Kate can ask questions and Polly can ask questions to Deepak Raj Joshi.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Jaganji. First of all, I would like to thank you, Polly, for her encouraging words, and we'll be happy to welcome you in Nepal very soon. Regarding the preparedness of Nepal as a destination is right now the government together with private sector, all the safety protocols they have publicized, and since yesterday I think they are giving a kind of training to practice the new safety protocols for the better service that is there. And then another thing is in many other areas also training are going on. In airport also there are certain safety protocols are made, and then as police suggested, it is better now. I don't know because there is less crowd or what, but it looks very clean, very there are some new furnishing are also made, and then the training is also there. And then I heard that within few months of time, the Ministry of Home Affairs and Department of Immigration, they are trying to make e-visa system within few months, so that will help many visitors. And regarding the survival thing, I think after every crisis there are 4 segments and 4 markets which are key to revive. And in Nepal's case also, first 4, the major markets that Nepal need to focus or focusing is the number 1 is domestic market, which will help us to survive our industry, at least for the hotel and restaurant sectors, maybe outside of Kathmandu or in many other areas. And second is obviously the regional markets. Already the Rahulji also talked about the huge emerging population that we have around us. Last week only I was talking to association heads of India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and few friends in China. They are also willing to connect with Nepal more than before. How we can see is when we look at the data of 2019, in 2019 nearly 27 million outbound visitors were from India only. 1.6 was from Bangladesh, nearly 1.4 or 5 is from Sri Lanka, 1.3 was from Nepal. So within this region also there is huge market, but we need to look for new segments. In the past, we have been looking for in India market, the perception about Nepal is only a kind of pilgrimage sites like Pashupatinath and Muktinath, and then some honeymoon packages and some business and corporate trips. That's all. But we need to we can explore more like the adventure kind of activities, weekend breakers, the spiritual segments. That is there. So that kind of new segments also we can explore within this market, which can be a new chapter for long term. And then in third is the short haul markets, where we have one-stop connectivity. For example, Southeast Asia, Middle East, these kind of countries also we can focus in third stage. And in the fourth stage, in the long haul market, where the niche segment is. In segment wise, always there is domestic segment and then corporate segment. In corporate segment, there is a kind of compulsion to travel for their business purpose. And then third is pilgrimage segment. After every crisis, pilgrimage segment is one of the segment which revives very quickly, because after crisis, people want to go to pilgrimage sites, get blessings, and start a kind of new ventures. And fourth is niche segment. In niche segment, Nepal is very, very popular. I hope that Nepal will be one of the quickest, one of the country which can have quickest recovery because of these all reasons. But to have all these, we have to have a kind of very solid and sound preparation within the country. to assure the safety concern and then upscaling the destination image. In many forums, we have been there is a kind of survey like the after COVID, the most of the visitors will choose a nature-based destination, will travel in a smaller groups. Nepal is a destination we used to have small groups, not like the 2,000, 3,000 packs traveling together, like many other countries. And then the isolation. The traveling to Nepal itself is a kind of isolation by compulsion, not by choice. In our 2,000-meter altitude, everybody cannot walk in the same pace. Even in our hilly areas, if you look at the houses, they are all scattered.
I think that's the reason Navin was saying we don't need any quarantine. Nepal
exactly. Even in the Annapurna region,
I just like to interrupt because we are running out of time.
Yeah,
I think I want Kate. Have you got any question? Can you open Kate and see? Has he got any question to Deepak ji?
Yes,
she can fire on.
Kate, please go on.
So Kate, yeah, if you just have any questions to Deepak Joshi, anything you are not inspired, what Nepal should be doing, so just fire your questions.
I think from our point of view of tourists and coming over, I think there's just a lot of pressure on you to have those sort of measures in place and be able to communicate that you have those measures in place prior to anybody arriving there. So I don't know whether you had any plans to update things on websites or on because I know a lot of TripAdvisor things have opportunities to put those extra measures in as things that you've undertaken just to increase that trust between yourselves and your clients. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Yes, Kate, you are very right. Even in the crisis, brand visibility is very, very important, but with different messages. I mean, the relevant messages. You are right. After earthquake, we had partnered with TripAdvisor, we had partnered with Lonely Planet, many other BBC, CNN, this kind of many media platforms, together with Nepali diaspora, which is very, very strong now, mobilizing. The main mantra of coming out of crisis is going together is the main mantra. So the more we can collaborate with our key partners, faster we recover. Thank you for your suggestion. We'll suggest this to the concerned authorities.
Polly, would you like to?
Just one question to Deepak Joshi ji. I've been taking all my groups and I make sure I go with them and observe what is happening in Nepal, because I take pride to take my friends to Nepal, and I make sure that I use all my friends' hotel and hospitality, and I make sure food hygiene, everything is up to the standard. That's why very less of my friends get that Delhi belly, we call it. Most of the tourists has got a complaint. They do get Delhi belly when they go to Nepal. And my few suggestions, especially when you are going to visit sightseeing, Kathmandu Valley, and going for rafting, there's no toilet facilities. Government shouldn't have to spend so much money and space. Now in the Western society, you have a little portable toilet facilities. Portable one, you put in some money and then it doesn't take any space. You just install those portable, introduce those portable toilets in a main city area. That will help a lot for the tourists, because they do have Delhi belly all the time, so emergencies there. So Nepal is lacking those kind of stuff mainly in the cities. Hotels are doing the best; they are up to the standard. Another thing is we need to now carefully check all the hotels, restaurants, kitchens hygiene standard. If they are up to date or not. That has to be implemented by the government and regularly checked those sectors. And especially now, I find when they go rafting, nobody bothers because it's the company who provides them, but there's no toilet facilities. They've been asked to go behind the stones or forest, which is not right. And even they go to use the village toilets, it is not bearable, I think, to tell you the truth. So I think government should provide, wherever the rafting sectors are, there should be toilet facilities for them, a changing room for them, so that it is easy for them, because they are suffering when they're doing rafting, and Westerners to go behind the stone to suggest that is not really practical. So these are the things that the minor thing, but we have to be very serious about it.
Thank you, Navin. Deepak, would you like to make any comments on that?
Regarding the toilet thing, it has been a very important concern from many visitors. And then last year only, 5-6 months ago, local municipalities, they are initiating to make changing room and toilets near rafting points, 3 points in Trishuli River, and in major heritage sites in Kathmandu also. They are building. From Visit Nepal Secretariat, it was already started, but because of COVID-19, that campaign is stopped now. So we are also quite hopeful that within few months of time they will build it, because this has been a very important concern raised by many visitors and people like Navin also. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Deepak. Polly, would you like to make any contribution or comment?
I would just like to also say, that the hygiene, and once they're built and then keeping them clean, that's like the regular cleaning, because this makes people feel safe. And there's nothing worse than being a happy tourist and then having an upset tummy, and it affects your perception of your vacation, which is a shame. But it does, if you feel very weak and you can't keep going, then you need to feel strong. We need to feel strong when we're visitors. We will feel reassured, especially post-COVID, that we can keep ourselves clean. That's what we like to do. We don't want to be obsessive, but we do want to be able to do that and know that we are also not destroying your beautiful environment. The pollution, sometimes we see the pollution down at Pashputinas down in the river. And it's all very well after the monsoon, but before the monsoon, it's really awful. It's nothing to do with the people here on our panel, but the perception of the Nepalese, it's their perception of rubbish and stuff. All these things help with the hygiene and keeping the water clean. We just have we do everything we can, but we love Nepalese food. We like your I like the idea of the culinary, the culinary experience of learning to cook Nepalese style momos and all these things. That's good fun. But we need to know that we can see the hygiene. It's transparent. I know it's difficult also. It'll be difficult in hospitality with things like buffet food, is going to be more difficult, and we don't know how it's going to work in the UK yet about buffet food. You know what I mean, in the hotels and things. So it's interesting that it'll, how we will find out whether we all have to log in the morning to what we want to eat. I don't know. But this isn't what we expect up in the mountains, by the way. But
thank you, Polly, for your.
Polly, that proves to everyone the COVID-19, when it was occurring, the first thing, the crisis we had was the toilet paper worldwide.
Yes.
So that is very important that it has to be addressed.
I see one of our journalist friend, Vachaspati Regmi-ji, tapai kehi question athava kehi contribution? Pokhareli, he's from Pokhara, very beautiful place. He's a journalist as well. Yes, Vachaspati-ji, we have like hardly 5-minute time left for the show. So,
धन्यवाद जगन सर. वास्तवमा मैले अब डिएसपी भनेर तपाईले परिचय पनि गराउनु भयो. म डोल्पा बसेँ. म मुस्ताङको अपर मुस्ताङसम्म पनि भ्रमणमा गएँ र विदेशमा युनाइटेड नेसनको जब गर्दा कायरो, लक्जर अनि अम्मानका एरियाहरू पनि प्रशस्त हेरेँ. अनि लेबनानको बोर्डरहरू एरियामा पनि, जोर्डानको एरियाहरू पनि, ब्ल्याक सीतिर पनि हेरियो. मैले के देख्छु भने नेपालमा अलि बढी डेमोन्स्ट्रेसनहरू हुने, पोलिटिकल डेमोन्स्ट्रेसन अथवा झ्वाक्क रिसाएर बाटोमा बसाइ जलाइदिने, बाटै ब्लक गरिदिने गर्दाखेरि अलिकति असर परेको छ. देशले, मैले दीपक सरलाई अस्ति हाम्रो भेट पनि भएको थियो यहाँ लन्डन आएको बेलामा, दीपक सरलाई के भन्न चाहन्छु भने यो डेमोन्स्ट्रेसनहरू भएर, पोलिटिकल डेमोन्स्ट्रेसन, अन्य अनरेस्टहरू भएर नेपाललाई पर्यटनहरू बिग्रिरहेको छ. गभर्मेन्टले र जनताले दुइटै मिलेर देशमा टुरिज्म, पहिलो देश विकासलाई पहिलो काम चाहिँ टुरिज्म हो भन्ने जान पर्ने देख्छु. अब इन्डियन पनि त्यस्तै टुरिस्टहरू आउँछ तर अनरेस्ट छ देशमा, अनि घुम्नै नपाएर फर्किरहेको छ. त्यसोले मैले के क्वेसन राख्न चाहन्छु भने पर्यटन क्षेत्रका व्यवसायहरूबाट अथवा लिडरहरूबाट सरकारलाई नेपाल पुरै पर्यटन व्यवसायबाट देश बन्ने हो भन्ने एउटा मिसन लगेर जनतादेखि नै नेपालमा नेपाल बन्द हुनुहुन्न, पर्यटन विकासले देश विकास हुन्छ भन्ने मिसन लानुपर्छ कि भन्ने मेरो एउटा सानो क्वेसन थियो। त्यसको बारेमा दिपकजीको धारणा के छ? मलाई त्यो गभर्मेन्ट चाहिँ त्यस्ता कुराहरू भएको छ कि छैन? देश विकास चाहिँ टुरिज्मले गर्छ, त्यो टुरिज्म गर्ने हुनाले नेपाल बन्द भन्ने कुरा।
थ्याङ्क यू सो मच। म भोला खनालजी पनि केही भन्न चाहनु भएको छ थोरै यो पर्यटनको बारेमा। उहाँले पनि राम्रो एकदमै योगदान गरिराख्नु भएको छ। स्कटल्यान्डबाट भोला खनालजी हुनुहुन्छ, त्यहाँ चाहिँ हिमालयन सेन्टरबाट उहाँले पनि एकदम यो भोलुन्टियर टुरिज्महरूमा धेरै काम गरिराख्नु भएको छ। भोला खनाल, हि इज फ्रम स्कटल्यान्ड and he is involved in volunteer tourism, rural tourism from Scotland to Nepal. He takes lots of volunteers to Nepal. And Bhola, would you like to contribute something, whichever language you prefer?
Yes, namaskar. सुनिराख्नु भएको छ है?
सुनिरहेको छ, थ्याङ्क यू।
सुनिरहेको छ। अब मेरो म सरी, आई स्पिक इन नेपाली मोर क्लियर। मैले चाहिँ दिपकजीको लागि नै हो क्वेसन चाहिँ। अब हुन त अब अहिले भेटरान एउटा बिजनेस व्यवसायको होटल व्यवसायको भेटरानहरू चाहिँ बोलिराख्नु भएको छ र धेरै कुराहरू त निस्किसक्यो। तर पनि मेरो कन्सर्न चाहिँ के हो भनेदेखि यो होटल व्यवसायहरू, टुरिज्म पर्यटन व्यवसायहरू चाहिँ ठुलो व्यवसायहरू चाहिँ सर्भाइभ होला अथवा त्यसमा लगानीहरू धेरै हुने अथवा पहिलेदेखि चाहिँ नाफामूलक चलिरहेको चिजहरू हुनसक्छ होला। तर ती टुरिज्म व्यवसायलाई चाहिँ सहयोगीको रूपमा चाहिँ सानो व्यवसायहरूलाई कसरी चाहिँ सर्भाइभ गराउने भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ होटल टुरिज्मले अथवा चाहिँ तपाईँ हाम्रो दिपकजी जस्तो चाहिँ मान्छेले गभर्मेन्टसँग सरकारसँग चाहिँ एउटा पोलिसी बनाएर त्यो चाहिँ सानो सानो व्यवसायहरू जस्तो चाहिँ हाम्रो ठुलो व्यवसायको लागि सहयोगी हुन सक्छन् त्यस्तो व्यवसायहरूलाई चाहिँ सहयोग गराउने कार्यक्रम छ कि छैन र तिनीहरूलाई एउटा जस्तो मैले एक्जाम्पलको रूपमा सामान्य ट्याक्सी व्यवसायहरू हुन सक्छन्, ट्रान्सपोर्टेसन, अनि साना पसलहरू चाहिँ जो होटलको दायाँ बायाँ बाहिर लोकल चाहिँ पसलहरू हुन सक्छन्, रेस्टुरेन्टहरू हुन सक्छन्। त्यस्ता व्यवसायहरूलाई चाहिँ यदि हामीले सर्भाइभ गराउने प्रयास गरेनौँ भनेदेखि हामीले ठुलो व्यवसायहरू मात्र चाहिँ चलाएर चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ टुरिस्टहरूलाई चाहिँ सर्भिस उपलब्ध हुन सक्दैन। त्यस्तोतिर चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टलाई पोलिसी बनाउनको लागि अथवा गभर्मेन्टलाई सहयोग गर्ने सल्लाह दिने र चाहिँ ठुला व्यवसायहरूले पनि त्यसलाई सहयोग गर्ने रूपमा चाहिँ कसरी जाने सोचिराख्नु भएको छ भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ मेरो जिज्ञासा हो।
थ्याङ्क यू भोलाजी। अब
त्यसमा मैले सानो थप्न चाहे, सरी, I think I speak in English because I think hospitality is very important because tourism is the main source of income, which everybody knows, which been proved already. So in UK, government has helped us because I'm also in the hospitality trade. So they have given us 10,000 grand, and on top they have given us 50,000 free interest loan facilities just to survive. So there is an input from government on the hospitality sector. So I urge, and especially through Deepak Joshi ji, that government with the hospitality sector, the government has to do something about it. Maybe free.
Yes. That's my concern.
Thank you, Navin. Thank you, everyone.
Bolaji said from it's not only the big hotels, the restaurants also comes on the hospitality, taxis also comes on the hospitality. So government, this sector, I'm not talking about other industry, but this especially hospitality sector, from the beginning, from scratch, from giant to small, whoever is involved, I think government has to think very, very carefully. Exactly. It has to be sustained. And that brings lots of income to revenue to the country.
Thank you, Navin Dai. Now we are at the end of the program. This question, Deepak, I would like to request Deepak Raj Joshi ji to address this question, and then I would like to thank all our audience and all the panelists who gave us your valuable time and inputs today. Deepak Raj ji.
Thank you.
Address that question.
छोटकरीमा कुराहरू राख्न चाहन्छु। वास्तवमा हाम्रो अघि यो बच्चनजीले पनि भन्नुभएको थियो नि, यो बन्द हडताल प्रोटेस्ट टाइपको कुराहरू, यो चाहिँ 5-7 वर्ष अगाडि चाहिँ एकदम विकरालै थियो। एभ्री सिचुएसन एभ्री उसमा जेमा पनि भइहाल्ने हैन। तर अहिले चाहिँ अघि पनि मैले राखेँ एउटा कुरा, होल कन्ट्रीमा एउटा यो इकोनोमिक डेभलपमेन्टको बुझाइ चाहिँ एकदम धेरै बढाएको छ कि अहिले सो द्याट त्यो बुझाइ सँगसँगै कसैको प्रयासबाट होइन कि त्यो बुझाइ बढ्दै जाँदा चाहिँ सट्टै घटाएको छ अहिले मलाई लाग्छ ठुल्ठुलो पार्टीले पनि नेपाल बन्द गर्छु भन्यो भने अहिले हुँदैन त्यो हामीले देखेका छौँ होइन हुँदैन त्यो चाहिँ अब इनकेस भएको पनि जति पनि प्रोटेस्टहरू छन् त्यो चाहिँ साह्रै डिसिप्लिन र एकदमै जस्तो गुठीको केसमा भएको अस्ति हेर्नुभयो होला होइन पुलिसहरूलाई फुल दिने लाठीको सट्टा अस्ति यो आइसोलेसनकै बेला भएको यसमा चाहिँ ठुलो चेन्ज आएको छ र यो चेन्ज चाहिँ यस्तै पोजिटिभ नोटमा जाओस् भन्ने हामी विस गर्छौँ होइन अघि अब यो हाम्रो भोलाजीले पनि एउटा कुरा राख्नु भएको थियो होइन अब त्यसका सन्दर्भमा पनि वास्तवमा हामी अहिले यो रिभाइभलकै फेजमा अगाडि बढिरहेछौँ र मलाई लाग्छ यो आउने केही समयपछि त्यसमा पनि रिमार्केबली चेन्ज चाहिँ देखिन्छ जस्तो लागिरहेछ मलाई होइन र अर्को कुरा के छ भने यो सानो होटलको जस्तो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ समग्र पर्यटन क्षेत्र भनिएको छ होइन तर पर्यटन सेक्टरभित्र पनि छुट्टा छुट्टै समस्या छ कि जस्तो होटलमा हामीले हेऱ्यौँ भने ठुलो होटलको चाहिँ लोनको बढी समस्या छ मझौला होटलको चाहिँ इम्प्लोयरलाई कसरी रोजगार दिने भन्ने समस्या छ भने अलिकति अझ तल्लो स्तरको होटलको चाहिँ भाडा कसरी तिर्ने भन्ने समस्या छ मतलब प्रायोरिटीका हिसाबले त्यसलाई चाहिँ एउटा टास्क फोर्स बनाएर छिटो एड्रेस गरे पनि हुने हो त्यो चाहिँ अझै त्यति भा देख्दैन म पनि र अस्ति भर्खरकै बजेटबाट 50 अरबको एउटा फन्ड क्रिएट भएको छ टुरिज्म सेक्टरलाई राहत दिनलाई भनेर र यसमा पनि हामीले पनि लबिङ गरिरहेछौँ र सबैले लबिङ गर्नुपर्ने के छ भने छिटोभन्दा छिटो यो फन्ड चाहिँ मोबिलाइज हुनु पर्यो कि किनभने 5 महिना 7 महिना 1 वर्षपछि भएर यसको फेरि कुनै उपादेयता छैन यता मर्का परेर मान्छे पुरै खत्तम भइसक्छ त्यसपछि त्यो रिभाइभल र रेस्क्यु भएर काम छैन त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ यो जे जति छुट्टाएको छ त्यसलाई पनि छिट्टै परिचालित हुने ढङ्गबाट गयो भने त्यसले केही न केही राहत दिने हामी देख्छौँ फेरि टुरिज्म इन्डस्ट्रीको एउटा बेस्ट पार्ट के छ भने यो चाहिँ धेरै सेक्टरसँग एसोसिएट हुन्छ when we support tourism sector it goes to transport होइन अरू इकोनोमीको छ handicrafts अर्को हाम्रो यो food chain so many other sectors are also closely associated with tourism sector so support to tourism sector is supposed to mean support to many other the sector of economy also त्यो हिसाबले हामी बुझाइरहेछौँ र लास्टमा म के भन्न चाहन्छु भने as Kate has mentioned about the communication of the things within lockdown there are so many good things are happening inside Nepal but we are not being able to communicate to the world. For example, you know, in Annapurna region, many the Sherpa guides, those who are jobless, are curating their trekking trails with a variety of arts, stone carving, building trekking trails in Annapurna region. Even in now, I think more than 2,000 international visitors, they are in Nepal. They choose to stay in Nepal thinking that Nepal is safer than their home country. So, and many local communities, they are offering, you know, the free stay, accommodation, food, and these kind of so many stories that Nepal has, but it is not, you know, the going out very smoothly and effectively. And the more these kind of stories we bring out, it will enhance, you know, help us to enhance our image as a destination, and finally it will help to recover faster. And that is the true character of Nepal as well. So, you know, in a final note, I would like to also thank Navinji for organizing this very fruitful webinar, and Jaganji, wonderful moderation, and fellow panelists for your very, very valuable suggestion. I'm quite sure that Nepal will bounce back quicker because our private sector industry is very, very experienced, mature, and smart.
Thank you so
that's
much,
what I believe.
Deepakji, for your valuable time and insight, and thank you.
I'd like to conclude, Janak Bhai, I'd like to conclude this meeting.
Could you please,
we all have to work together. Today, whoever input all the points, it has to be considered. All our big giant entrepreneur industrialists on hospitality, they gave their input. They are also suffering. Government has to do something about it. And in future, we are going forward how to make Nepal a #1 destination. So we are working through Support Nepal. Kate is also now part of the project we are doing, that we're gonna publish a book that do's and don'ts, which are the good hotels. We're gonna give them a good advice type of a book we're gonna introduce in future. We all should work together. Joshi ji, we need your help from the government sector, Dr. Shakya ji will be also. So we'll do make a very special book for Nepal. And Kate is also now part of it. Kate will be visiting Nepal. And I want all the government, if she wants any help in the government sector, any information she wants to, please help her, because she is the one now I'm relying, and she is the young entrepreneur. She loves Nepal. And when she comes to Nepal, she is coming to Nepal. Do look after her, any information she needs. And then we will come up with a very special book.